Right, gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Insane Weather Patterns. And the eagle-eyed among you will notice that I have once again shifted location. So, as usual, I will reward the first who guesses correctly with the beer emoji in chat. Now, let's get to it. Oh, a little hint. This place is actually very famous among the chess-playing public. So, today we're going to have to talk about territorial defense, because as regular viewers of the channels will recently know, I was recently in Vilnius, Lithuania, and there I had a chance to speak to a very interesting fellow who is a member of the Lithuanian Union of Riflemen. Now, the Lithuanian Union of Riflemen, and you can check out their website, you can just Google Lithuanian Union of Riflemen and check out their website, is an honest-to-God paramilitary organization in Lithuania consisting of Lithuanian gun owners and other civic-minded people who wish to protect their country against invasion from a foreign invasion. And let's get real here. Only one country is going to realistically invade Lithuania, and that is Russia. Of course, it may use Belarus as a proxy, but we know who's pulling the strings there. So the Lithuanian Riflemen's Union is a paramilitary organization, but it is also supported by the Lithuanian government and the Lithuanian military. And a lot of what they do isn't just training for combat. They are, of course, training to become, in the event of a war, sort of a territorial defense type organization. But also, they are doing a lot of what we would call non-kinetic aspects of warfare. So, for example, the fellow I spoke to was part of the unit to fight disinformation, and these are the guys who, like me in many ways, they are out there fighting the Russian disinfo networks, the bots, the enemies of Europe, everyone who's out there trying to defeat us in our minds before the fighting already starts. And the way he puts it, the guys who shoot, the guys who dig trenches, the guys who drive tanks, who pilot drones, they're preparing for war. My war has already started, and it's been going on for, well, at least 2014. And that's the reality of the non-kinetic aspects of war, the information war, the economic war, the legal war, the diplomatic and political wars. It has been raging since at least 2014, ever since this alliance of anti-European ideologues, the Putins, the Orbans, the Netanyahus, the Trumps, the Xis of the world, they decided that they wanted to destroy Europe, to destroy European civilization, this shining beacon of just a good way to live, and subjugate us to their evil, psychotic, and anti-human empires. Now, why I'm making this video? I was really impressed by what the Lithuanian Riflemen's Union is doing. It's, like I said, paramilitary organization of Lithuanian gun owners, hunters, and just patriotic citizens who want to protect their country. It's also, they work with and train with the Lithuanian military. The Lithuanian military sometimes provides them with equipment, weapons, definitely gives them resources that they need to train more effectively. And I started asking around. I started asking all of my international friends, does your country have something like this? Now, my friends from Poland and from Latvia told me that actually we do, but it's a little bit more official. It's called the Territorial Defense Forces. Territorial Defense Forces is, for those that don't know, they're comparable to the United States National Guard. That means that these guys, they're not reservists, but they are considered part of the military. Now, they are civilians, they have jobs, they have families, right? But one weekend every month they spend on training and maneuvers. They have uniforms, they have weapons, they have equipment, and they are assigned to the specific area where they live. So, for example, in Poland, if you live in Gdańsk, in the event of a war, you will be deployed to Gdańsk to protect that region. Now, in practice, Ukraine also has territorial defense, and in practice, when Ukraine started feeling the infantry crunch, territorial defense units were redeployed to the front line. So yeah, you may technically be part of territorial defense Zhytomyr, right? And Zhytomyr is nowhere near the front line, but yeah, you got deployed to Donbass. So, in a serious life or death existential conflict, any man capable of carrying arms will be deployed to the front. But this is actually a good idea to have this sort of territorial defense. And to my knowledge, now bear in mind my knowledge is very limited, organizations like the Lithuanian Riflemen's Union or the Polish or Latvian Territorial Defense do not really exist in broader Europe. So, for example, in Macedonia, we don't have territorial defense. I don't think the French have territorial defense, or the Germans, any of the larger European states. And why do we need territorial defense? Why couldn't just patriotic citizens join the army or be army reservists? Well, the answer is a lot of these people cannot be professional soldiers. They've got other professions they're doing. They cannot subject their families to the same kind of stresses that being a professional soldier means. When you're a soldier, you get deployed to a different area of the country. You go there, no questions asked. Not every family can handle that sort of moving. It is a sacrifice, and military families make sacrifices as much as personnel. If they have to move or if they don't move, your family member, your husband, your father, your son, he's not near you where you can see him. You worry about him, even if it's not war. Like my mom worries when I'm not home. It's just the way things are, right? But so this is a sort of halfway point between someone who is a pure civilian, not part of any military or paramilitary formation, and a soldier. It gives citizens who are patriotic minded, who are security minded, who understand, who can see the writing on the wall, the way I and other and viewers of this channel can see the writing of the wall, that we as a civilization are under attack and we must defend ourselves. And furthermore, every man must do his duty, no matter how small, no matter how large, no matter how seemingly non-kinetic. We have to do our duty for Europe, for our civilization, right? But in a way that accommodates their life. So you don't uproot your family, you don't quit your profession. You're a construction worker, or you're an attorney, or you're a doctor, or you're whatever, But on weekends, on one weekend every month, you are a territorial defender or Lithuanian rifleman. And one thing that my friend from Lithuania told me, very interesting aspect of it, was that he was always, anxious about, ever since 2022, ever since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia, he was really anxious about essentially his country, Lithuania, being invaded by Russia. And joining the Lithuanian Riflemen was a way of essentially controlling that anxiety by saying that, well, whatever happens, I did the best I can do as a family man and as a careered professional. I can't quit my job and join the military, but I can join the riflemen and contribute to the defense of my country before my country's attacked, or while it is still only being attacked in the subkinetic realm. And this gave him apparently a degree of mental stability and security in that he had actually done his duty. And this is very important. We have to maintain our own psychological well-being. I know I'm suffering, like, psychologically, because I always feel I'm not doing enough for the struggle. That's maybe a good thing because it drives me to do more, but it's also a bad thing because it wears away at me. And so having these sort of these territorial defense or union type organization allows people to feel like they're contributing and actually contribute to national defense. And in a sense, you're not only building patriotism, you're not only building the capacity for civilian and resilience in your population, but you're also building patriotism and giving young men direction. Everyone's talking about, oh, young men are struggling, young men are not well, young men are believing stupid things because podcasters on YouTube tell them stupid things. Well, this may be a way to counter that. This may be a way to control that. If you want to learn to be, this is like open for both men and women, the Lithuanian Riflemen's Union, but men in particular, I think, need guidance. I've spoken about this on this channel in the past. And these organizations may indeed provide the sort of guidance that men need in these trying times. Now I'm talking about all the ways in which having these sort of organizations is good for the individual and for the population, but obviously having a large mass of men and women who know how to operate weapons, who know how to operate as a unit, who have that sort of formal structure of hierarchy is even more important than that for a country at war. And this is something that my Lithuanian friend told me once again, in the 40s and 50s, when the Soviet Union illegally occupied the Baltic republics, the old iteration of the Lithuanian Riflemen, this is a very older organization, formed the basis for the Forest Brothers, who were the anti-Soviet partisans who fought the Soviet Union all the way up to the 60s, right? So the Soviet Union never fully controlled the Baltic republics, all the way up to the 60s. There was armed resistance, and the unarmed resistance, the subkinetic resistance, never ended in the Baltic republics. It never ended in Lithuania. It never ended in Latvia or Estonia. And when the time came to destroy the Soviet Union and liberate these countries, the structure and memory of this fight allowed these republics to rise again. So any potential aggressor will have to factor in the effect of Riflemen's Union or Territorial Defense forming the backbone of a partisan movement, because it's not enough to just invade and defeat the army. You also have to hold the territory, and that is very difficult when the tree line is speaking Lithuanian, which is a very difficult language, as I've been learning this past month. Thank you for your attention, and see you in the woods.